Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Opel Meriva car. In the world of minivans, there are many cars that do not stand out in any way from the competition. However, the Opel Meriva has something special about it. It is the top sporty version of the OPC. Unfortunately, most potential customers will not pay attention to it anyway. The choice of engines in the Opel Meriva I is really big for such a small car. Not only the frugal ones will find something for themselves here, but also enthusiasts of pressing the gas pedal to the floor. This is no joke. The top sporty version of the OPC, thanks to the power of 180 hydrogen phosphide, catapults to the first 100 in 8.2 seconds. Many drivers of much larger cars will be shocked. The price for excellent performance for this class is high fuel consumption. In city traffic, it reaches about 13L 100 kilometers, and possible problems with the turbocharger. Let's not kid ourselves, no one spares such a car. The OPC version is just the cherry on the cake, which will interest only a few. Most people will rather decide on other versions. When choosing the right engine, you have to remember that the 16-valve 1.6L and 1.8L engines consume large amounts of engine oil. The 90-horsepower 1.4L engine is trouble-free and quite economical. 7.5L 100 kilometers in traffic jams. An equally good choice would be the 105-horsepower 1.6-liter petrol unit. Unfortunately, in this case, the car can consume as little as 9L 100 kilometers in the city. It is also worth remembering that in the petrol versions, the water pump, starter, alternator, and fan are not particularly durable. Among the diesels, the 75-horsepower 1.7 DTI engines, designed by Isuzu, and the slightly more modern 1.3 CDTI cause the least problems in operation. Unfortunately, neither of them can boast good dynamics. They accelerate to 100 kilometers per hour in about 17 seconds. Even if you don't need a fast car, driving a Meriva with such weak units will be tiring for you. The 1.7 CDTI engine is much more dynamic, especially its more powerful version. Unfortunately, the unit also has its dark side, namely the faulty fuel pump valve. Unfortunately, in cars manufactured before mid-2007, the entire pump must be replaced, costing several €100. In addition, diesels can increasingly often suffer from problems with accessories. The most failure-prone are versions with a particulate filter used in the city, front-wheel drive, and a transversely placed engine. In the case of small cars, manufacturers do not foresee exceptions to this rule. It is the same in the case of the Opel Meriva I. Potential customers have a choice of 3 transmissions: 5 or 6-speed manual, and 5-speed automated Easytronic, also known from Alfa Romeo cars as Celispeed. Suspension: McPherson struts in the front and a torsion beam in the rear. Safety: in the Euro NCAP crash tests, the car achieved a quite good result of 4 stars. What to avoid when buying so as not to stumble upon a mine? First of all, cars equipped with an automated Easytronic gearbox. The gearbox tends to jam, and quite often the module and clutch are damaged here. Replacing these 2 elements costs several €100. In cars with a manual gearbox, the external mechanism breaks down. Its repair will not be a big problem. Another weak point of the Meriva I is the steering rack, which over time begins to produce disturbing knocking noises. Before buying, be sure to check the tightness of the cooling system, as fluid leaks are becoming more frequent. Note: there are even models with a damaged head gasket. A common problem with Opel Merivas is oil leaks not only from the engine, but also from the gearbox. The front suspension quickly damages the stabilizer linkages and rubbers. Fortunately, suspension components cost next to nothing. Rust: although the car has been fairly well protected against corrosion, due to its age, in some models the first bubbles are already popping out on the rear fenders. The rust does not spare the exhaust system either, but this is a typical ailment of cars used in the city. Opel Meriva I is a city minivan that perfectly camouflages itself in a crowd of gray cars. However, it stands out from other cars of this type with its sporty version, which is ideal as a small racer. Its main advantages are a wide range of engines, cheap operating costs. Some engine versions do have breakdowns that are more expensive to repair, low failure rate, and a large 350-liter boot for this segment. Unfortunately, most of the cars offered are very worn-out models imported from Germany, and these are best avoided. The disadvantages include conservative styling of both the body and the interior, poor performance of most engine versions, a failing automatic transmission, and ubiquitous leaks. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.